Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do begin, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of events happening. Now, Deku, he finds that right now he is severely underpowered to take on multiple threats in Gotham. Black Mask is believed to be paying politicians outside the city to keep no man's land going. And this does mean quite a bit. Now, thanks to this, Black Mass has managed to maintain control, keep things the way they are, and has allowed Gotham to suffer. With that, Deku wants to expand his territory. If he does take down Black Mask, this will say quite a bit to the people in his territory and in the city. The GCPD are getting funding thanks to outside resources from Gotham. Midoriya Industries is dropping supplies into the city. They have fresh food, fresh water, and ammunition for their weapons. But Black Mask may be in a similar boat. So, Deku made a plan. He gave comms to the heroes and told them how things are going to go down. Right now, he's going to try and make sure to confirm if Black Mask has guns, if they have bullets for those guns. If they have those bullets, he will try and get rid of them. That way, when they go in swinging, they won't have to deal with a lot of them. They may have to deal with quirked individuals, but hey, there's some pretty good pros. And he's just Batman. Now, he made things quite clear. It will take some time for this all to go down. In the meantime, they need to be ready. Keep things as usual. They're going out and trying to handle crime, trying to figure out exactly how to deal with things in the city. Batman, yeah, he might be taking some time off. Not only will this allow Deku to heal some of his minor bruises, but allow some of his more serious injuries to begin healing. Now then, with that being said, let us pick up a couple of days later. Right now, a lot is going on. Gotham, it has been in chaos. Batman, he does still try and continue the search. However, he does get spotted in multiple areas. And the pros, they do try to patrol closer to the coastline. Right now, it's simple. A team will head out in one direction with the Batman, break off at some point, and start trying to fight crime anywhere they can. Most people try and stick to themselves. Smaller communities and places with gangs. Those gangs either try to avoid the pros or confront them directly. But when they find out who they're fighting, a member of the top 10, they begin to back down. When people encounter Batman, they're a little bit more wary. They've heard that the guy's been running around for months. And he has gadgets. He's got power somehow. But he doesn't have any. That's the real complicated bit. Now, we do have tonight. Tonight is the night, baby. Right now, he's got everything settled. He's been stalking, investigating, and has found they do have weapons. Though, they do also have guns. The bullets. They're coming in tonight. He's overheard from their comms. He's overheard them talking, chatting, and resting. Right now, two people have a conversation. both of them sitting outside by the docks, drinking and smoking. And they do try to keep an eye on the water. Meanwhile, behind them, there does sit Batman, a pair of binoculars as he does sit there on the roof, squat down and staring out. This is certainly going to be very, very bad. However, him going to stand, bring up something from his utility belt and attaching it to his face. Right now, covering his mouth and sucking in a breath of filtered air, going to step backwards into the night. Now, people do begin to talk about a few things. They start unloading the boat and going through it. And Deku, he does go to find the generator and turn off the power. The moment he does go to cut the fuel line and go to rip out panels. Him destroying it. It could be fixed given some time. But without some fresh gas and some duct tape, this thing won't get running anytime soon. And when the lights do go down, people get concerned. However, they don't think anything too bad has happened. The thing's been running a lot. This happened the other night and last week. So hey, it happens from time to time. Though that hunk of junk, it's gonna need to be fixed pretty damn soon. If it keeps up like this, it won't last too long. And two people, they do go to investigate. They might just need to let it cool down, get some lanterns or flashlights, and finish unloading. It might be slower, but half of them will have to stand around, ashamed, drinking beer, and watch the other half unload the material. Now, the person, they are talking about it. As there is where they do get a turn and try and see their buddy. But he's gone. And he's confused. A hand coming around his back as he does get pulled into somebody. And whenever he does go to turn his head, bring a hand up, he does stare into the face of a man. A man with eyes who does look angry. Before he does it to pass out. And Deku, he does go to, with his amped up frame, drag these men out to the warehouse, out to safety. Before he does go to make his way back over, dropping the grenades. They do to roll out into the area and emit gas. When people do start to turn and try and figure out what's happening, panic beginning to ensue, it does quickly start to die down. The warehouse, it does have multiple people go down. And he does begin to drag them out, get them out of here, carry them away, and even get the men off of the boat. As there is where he does to find the ammunition. And here is a big moral conundrum. What should he do with all of it? You have fresh guns, gun oil. You even have grenades, bullets, and shells. All of this, him going to dump everything out, means a bit. Grabbing some of the canisters of the gun oil and beginning to tip them over. There's so much happening here. He needs to figure this all out. Deal with Black Mask. Send him a message. He does have an idea for one. However, him bring a finger up to his ear after he does begin to drag away a canister. Him trying to dump this oil all over the warehouse and getting ready. finger up to his ear. We have a situation. Multiple people jumping on comms. You find some people to fuck up? What's happening? Is everything alright? Is it the guns? I'm fine. Yes, and everything's fine. Now, I have the situation under control. Shipment just came in by boat. I've evacuated the warehouse, and right now I'm dealing with it. Dealing with it how? Well, simple. This place is gonna burn. It's gonna mean quite a lot. Him still walking around. Right now, there's gonna be a fire. Don't investigate. I'll do what I can to destroy the guns. But the ammunition, that's more tricky. I can use a thermite grenade on the weapons. It should help to start melting through them. I could try disassembling them, get rid of the firing pins, but that won't be a foolproof situation. They can improvise, and I don't know if they have a guy with a cork like that. Something that can help them. A little paranoid, don't you think? Thorough is more my guess. Now, they have ammunition. We can't let the police have it. I'm destroying it all. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. All of it? Yes. Miss Ashido, how powerful is your acid? It's strong. Why? Do you believe that it can eat through a bullet? It can eat through almost anything. Concrete, metal, stuff like that. I see. Could I trust you to eat through ammunition? I could. But right now we're a little too far away. I'm not sure if we'd be able to help. Hold on a damn sec. Bakugo going to interject. They could give those over to the police. They need the weapons. They do. But right now, this is our fight. Do any of you use weapons? And that's what I thought. Him going to double tap the comm so it's still active. Him taking the grenades and beginning to construct something very, very simple. A very large bouquet. And that does mean a bit. Him going to use some wire and thread and keep it up. Intertwining many, many of the pins and getting ready. Setting it down sideways as he does go to anchor it. And whenever this is going to happen, he does go to attach a thicker cord and go to step away from the boat. Right now, him going to begin pulling with his arm. And he does continue talking. Right now, it's all about to go up. So, don't worry about that. Now, that's done. Him yanking hard as he finally does it to pull free his prize. Turning and going to haul ass. And right now, he does head out of the warehouse. Before a massive explosion does go off very shortly afterward. Right now, Deku heading away. But he does it to leave behind one big tag. He wants them to know who did this. And the Black Mask, he is informed about this hours later. They were supposed to go to that warehouse and pick up those supplies. However, he heard about a fire last night and didn't think anything of it. Until someone clarified it was in the same direction as one of his warehouses. And when he sent men to go investigate it, they found his dock burnt to the ground. And the boat was nowhere to be seen. It could only be assumed it left. However, when he is going to try and call some contacts, he does going to find that boat never made it back. And some of the guys here, yeah, They're not natives, they're the gun runners, and they are not happy. However, they don't want to try and piss off this guy. And he is belligerent, angry, mad, pissed off. And when he finds out Batman is behind this, he does go to feel mad. And we do have right now Deku, he does go to wake, opening his eyes and going to sit up. Him wincing in pain and going to eat his breakfast. Water and a ration. Right now, it does mean a bit. Him tossing them in a full trash can that does seem overflown. And walking over to a computer. Going to call Nedjere. And he does go to pull up information she has sent over to him. They should be able to move on Black Mask. They should be able to do much. But he does have more concerns. She's tried forwarding information to Pro Heroes. He could try to ask Mirako about it and see what they can do. In fact, he does actually need some more supplies. The Batplane should be able to drop more in. An extra suit of body armor? Maybe. Actually, body armor for all of his allies. That might be the best thing. Battle suits? No, they already have those. He made one for Helena Bertinelli, and she ran off. She has yet to return. It's odd. A companion to work alongside. A sidekick? Huh. Interesting idea. Protecting Batman would take more than one person. It would be a full-time job. He needs to sleep, so he leaves time unaccounted for. Time on the table. Perhaps he can fix that. Figure something out. If this is going to be a lone crusade, perhaps he needs someone to be his guy in the chair. Needs someone to watch his back. And that does bring up another idea. How to rebuild Gotham. How to figure everything out. No. Turning Gotham into a surveillance state wouldn't do too much. People would break cameras, people would destroy them, steal them, trash them, and they wouldn't trust anything. That information could be hacked, destroyed, and altered. With quirks, that's a whole different ballpark. A shapeshifter would be a nightmare to deal with. And that's a problem. Right now, however, if he does decide to install discreetly, only for Batman, not for public use, that could solve a lot of issues. A number of them. Good. That's a good idea. Something that Batman can use to catch criminals. When the city is rebuilt. Him writing up a list and sending it over to Alfred. And Alfred, he does verify many things. Right now, Deku putting in his comm piece and going to press it. And he does go to wait. Before someone does come over the other end. Hello? Monoma? Yeah. This is Batman, correct? Did you need something? No. Situation? Situation's a little bad. Right now, we're all kind of just dealing with it. People are exhausted. Mirako is Mirako. Tetsu, he's currently out, and, well, everyone else has kind of crashed. It's only me and Ibarra currently awake for the situation. Is something wrong? No. Checking in. Do you have enough supplies? I do. Deku hearing a loud thud before a new voice does come onto the comms. Ignore him, ignore him. There's a few things that we do need. You wouldn't happen to be able to get cleaning supplies in? Shower supplies? Utility items? Yes. Please, if you would. I can bring anything into the city at this moment. However, I need a list of items specifically. I see. That does work. Any items in particular? Just, well, I see the situation. Monoma off comms. Monoma turning and expressing. This is, well, it's natural. Listen, snacks would be a really good thing to get into the city. Not just for that, it will help increase morale. Any items that we need in particular. Monoma is very unpeople person like, and I do believe that something that would help morale and people here would help them. Help them understand and remember what they're fighting for. Not just to get out of this damn city, but to fix it. Gotham is a home to multiple people, and I think you can understand that. I see. This conversation did not go where I thought it would. Did it not? Morale is already at a higher point. It is not necessary, but it is needed. Morale does show much improvement. People already have a lot more confidence in what they're fighting for with their guns loaded. Right now, they know that we've struck a major blow to operations for Black Mask, and they know very soon the heroes are going to go in and handle it. As far as I'm aware, we've already claimed back 2 other territories in Gotham. We hold a majority of the island. With people patrolling and feeling more confident, they're willing to take charge, take action. Right now, what you're asking for is a major waste of power and a waste of room for supplies. I can load snacks onto the transport, see what we can do there, have other things moved. However, if you're asking for junk food, not nutritional value, then that can be arranged. It is a slight improvement, and I know I myself actually might need something like that. I do need more coffee. Honestly, I do as well. However, very soon we will move on to Black Mask's territory. I myself would like to stoke him out, but I'm not sure if we can do that. We may have to hit his operations hard and fast. Do you understand? I do. Good. Write up what you need. Give it to Commissioner Gordon. He will forward the message to me. Copy that. Him going to hang up. And right now he is going to pull out his earpiece, walking into his lab, and going to test something new. A vial of venom. Right now he does think a lot about it. And he does go to walk over and grab it. Right now, allowing it to be absorbed into a patch that he has sitting there. It does mean a bit. If he's correct, these should work. Maybe, maybe not. But patches should be a better method of deployment. They're lighter, less delicate, something that seems more feasible on the battlefield. Main problem, however, is exposed skin. Hmm, perhaps these are an under improvement. However, him bringing his hand down, grabbing the part of his suit that does separate as a shirt, trying to pull it up and finding the suit doesn't have much give. It's designed to be heavy, bulky, bulletproof, and with Kevlar. And when he does try to pull it up, the segment underneath as an undersuit, it does go to right up further on his body. Him a bit annoyed, but happy with the design. Perhaps he shouldn't have tried designing part of a wetsuit. Hmm. And again, actually, that does pose me questions. Go from the sewer, go from the canal. Gotham is a series of islands. If he does leave from here right now, try and swim. Try and figure things out there. Maybe. No, he would be caught. More than likely. No one is ever swimming in the damn river. Along with that, the waters are putrid right now. That is a bad idea. Though going from the sewers, no, too many unpredictable variables. Collapsed hallways, collapsed segments, unstable roofing. At any moment it can give and collapse on him. Hell, right now a building could be falling over and he doesn't even know it. All because he's miles away. He's blinding Gotham and doesn't have much choice but to go right on into a battle. And that does feel annoying. Him going to inject himself with venom and try out this new formula. It should give him a little bit more aggression, but do its job. And Deku, he does begin to bulk. Right now, feeling out how his mind does react. Even beginning to get a little bit more training in. And there is where he does get a phone call later. Black Mask has started to move on their territory. He's angry about losing his shipment. And that's the thing that does concern him right now. Their supplies are heading into Gotham. But the GCPD, they're trying to advance to defend territory. The people of Gotham fighting for the Batman, fighting for the GCPD, fighting for their home, fighting to be safe again, are currently being hunted by the criminals. The men who want to abuse power, who want to be kings over the ashes of a city that just fell over, rule nothing. And right now, they're fighting. And Deku, he does begin to move. Right now, he does get his bike and begin to haul ass, moving through the city. And whenever he does going to finally make his way over, he does go to lock down the bike as he does going to hop off. Right now, him flying into and crashing directly into somebody. And when he does send them tumbling and rolling, the fight does start. Deku does a look around. Him watching people firing into the air and trying to attack each other. Which then is where he does deploy smoke bombs. Right now the confusion will help. And he does go to throw the bombs out, allowing them to roll as he does begin to move in. And Mirako, she already is running her way through the area, punching, kicking, and clawing. Right now, her going to smash one in the chest and then go to uppercut them. grabbing them by their face and slamming them down to the ground. And when she does go to look down, she does go to throw an elbow directly down into their head. Right now, someone charging Miracle with a sledgehammer. And there is where Miracle does in a turn, but a battering does to fly directly into the man's shoulder. Right now, him roaring out in pain as someone does get a step forwards, bringing their hand up and grabbing the sledgehammer, before they do to slam it down across the man's other arm. And when his arm does pop out of the socket and he lets out a high-pitched scream, Deku does go to slam the man directly in the stomach with his arm, before throwing his foot down when he does go down to his knees. And the man does go to fall flat on his face, before Batman does go to look around. And Mirako does stare at him. As Batman, he does stand there, taller and bigger than the last time she saw him. And she isn't sure if that's the same guy. Right now, a number of people, they do get a turn seeing Batman. Some do get to back away, especially the moment he does it, bring up their hand and snap this sledgehammer in half, informing all of them to either surrender or to get down. Right now, Black Mask is their target. And if he thinks that this is going to stop them, he's got another thing coming. Pros walking up next to Deku. And even civilians do go to step forwards. They're out of their rounds. And Deku does get to see that. Some people do have their quirks ready. Even some of the opposing people do have quirks ready. But someone does it to raise a gun, firing and striking a civilian. And Deku does it to rush forwards, him throwing 6 batterings from his hands. And 3 do to lodge themselves into 3 men on the right. 3 do to find themselves hitting the hands of others carrying weapons and firearms. And he does to rush towards the biggest man there. And when they do go to clash them in a mosh pit, Deku does slam the man across the face, who does go to slam Batman across the face as well. And Deku can tell, this man has super strength, not like Bane. Him going to throw the man onto the ground and bring his hands down, picking him up and slamming him across the face, throwing an elbow down directly into his stomach. And he does use the spikes on the front of his forearms to throw them down and slash directly into his stomach. Whenever he does, going to drag them across, the man has a scream. Deku bringing his hand to his face, grabbing the man and going to dig his fingers into his face. Right now, just under his eyes, before he does go to punch over and over and over again in the chest. He doesn't feel a rib give, and he does go to pull his head up and slam it against the concrete. As he does take a breath and think, he's down, turning and going to neutralize the next threat. And people do get to stare on. Someone going to throw a Molotov directly at him. Him being covered in the fire and the sparks. The glass hitting him as Deku, he does go to try and bring his cape up and put himself out. Smother the fire, smother the flames. People firing weapons at the Batman. And his bulletproof cape does go to protect him, stopping many rounds, but the moment it does go to have those threads be used, he does begin to feel it as he does hold up a very thick blanket that, while it is taking those impacts, they are beginning to hurt just a bit, especially after those impacts start to affect and hit his armor. He can feel them. They hurt, and they make him mad. And when Batman does it'll rush a crowd of men wielding firearms, they do go to begin backing away, something being thrown and exploding at their feet. It knocking many of them off guard as there is where vines, they do to wrap around the men. Their weapons being pulled away from them as there is where Tetsu does come running over. And right now, he does go to turn. Him staring at Deku as Deku does go to turn and look down towards him. And he does go to talk about it. Damn! And Deku does go to turn. Just thinking about what they can do. And he does go to talk about it. Reaching down to his utility belt and grabbing his grappling hook. Aiming and going to fire. As he does begin to head into Black Mask territory. People died today. Some of his men are down. That does mean a bit. Him going to stop. Suck in a breath and let it out. People are injured. But this is the mission. No. Is it? Him walking over. Looking down and seeing the pros trying to help out. Try and see what they can do. However, there is where an explosion can be heard. And he does watch Bakugo come flying up with Mirako on his back. Her somewhat talking about what they're doing. And when he does turn and see them, he does get confirmation. Bakugo going to land and Mirako talking about it. Right now, hopping off of his back with a bit of a limp in her left leg. They need to advance. Head forward and keep going. If Black Mask can do this, he'll do a lot more. They can't do much for the dead. However, they can make sure their loved ones stay alive. Deku nodding his head. Glad that he didn't seem heartless. He just seemed logical. They can mourn the dead later. Give them burials. Right now, Black Mask needs to go down. They have information. And as far as he is aware, his friend on the outside, they certainly have quite a bit going for them. Now, Deku and the two, they do go to head to Black Mask. And when they do go to arrive Bakugo, he does make an impact. A howitzer impact. As he does a blast to the front gates of their facility. And Deku does go throw smoke bombs as Mirako does come running in. Her going to smash into quite a few people. And when she does it to break up the crowd, people do begin to start firing into the smoke. Deku already moving up and coming down on the people. And when he does a slam down, people do to see him. Right now, going to turn and rush at them. Smashing through, barreling through, punching, kicking, stabbing, and hurting. Bones do to cave under his grip. And he does feel it. The anger, the violence, what he can do. He can feel it. The fear he's making. The fear everyone has of him. And there is even where someone, they do go to step into a Humvee. Right now them aiming the turret towards Deku. And Deku does see that. Right now, him going to turn and go to move. Him throwing down a smoke bomb as the person, they do begin to start firing into the mist. And he does go to dive for cover. Him going to use his grappling hook and fire it. It dragging him across the floor as his armor is already scuffed, riddled with damage, and somewhat burned. Right now, him going to turn, getting to his feet and throwing a grenade towards the person's truck. And when the grenade does explode, it is a smash on the side of the vehicle. The person being shaken by the explosion but not harmed. And Deku, he does go to come running in. And the person, they are quite surprised whenever Batman does come slamming into the Humvee. Him going to push it, and right now going to slam it up against a wall. Before the person does try to turn. Right now, they are almost punch drunk. And when they do try and swivel the turret towards Batman, he does go to step onto the Humvee, bringing his hands down and grabbing the man. Right now, him ripping him up and tossing him over 20 feet before he does a turn and bend down, ripping the turret free of the Humvee and going to turn, chucking it as hard as he can as people do to watch that. It is sent crashing into a wall and bending. Him turning, and he does look angry. Before he does, go to glare, stare, and try and reel himself back in, taking the situation. He has allies, people who need his help. An explosion going off, and he does a turn looking that way. Right now, more explosions going down, and he does need to help. However, there is where he does a turn back to the situation. Mirko is taking down someone big, bulky, a lightning user. No, someone with bubbles? And then there's that person. What's their ability? Him looking at others. Useless, useless, useless. Useless, useless, not useless. The person firing something from their hand. And Deku does go to bring his hands up. He can't dodge. If he does dodge, his Humvee will be hit by the rocket, and shrapnel could go flying into his back. Block? He's not even sure if he can do that. No. Can he catch it? Hell, he doesn't think he can. Can his body armor even survive something like that? And he does go to think. Him going to move. And when he does a slam down towards the ground, the rocket does fly over his head. It's going to explode as he doesn't feel ringing in his ears. His body vibrate. And the Humvee does explode. And it does mean quite a bit. The battlefield is going to fall silent for a second. And the person they do is just stare. Stare on at where the Batman used to be standing. Christ. What is that guy? Stabbed, shot, hit with lightning. I mean, shit. Hit with a fucking 50 cal. He tore it out of a goddamn Humvee. I mean, shit. He hit a truck with another truck. What the fuck is this guy? And the person does this stare. As right now, there is, with the smoke, it does begin to lighten. It does begin to move. And something does emerge from the sound of a corpse of metal. Right now, him going to stand. And Batman does it to release his cape. Right now, his body armor, it's tattered. And he does go to stand. And the person that you just going to stand there, their eyes wide as Batman, he does go to push the remains of that vehicle off of him. And he does look bad. Shit. They just dropped a car on they just dropped a Humvee on the Batman. And he's still alive. Christ. He's coming right for him. He doesn't know what to do. How are you supposed to take something like that down? The man's eyes filling with tears as a punch does connect with him. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoy and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys in the next part.